cold today. Not hoodie time. I'm gonna have my hoodie up. I don't even care. Ugh, it's chilly as fuck, dude. Well, I don't know. Not that either. Not that either. Not feeling that either. That works. Man, way colder today than it has been the last few days. The way officially dawn, that's for sure. Now we're back to the fucking fall weather again. Cool. It's a little rainy. At least it was last night. That's just cold as fuck. Well, that means my bike suit's probably fucking wet too. God damn it. Nah, sure, big deal. Whatever. Fucking nose, dude. Jesus. That didn't really work. Fucking allergies, bro. Especially when it's like, starting to get cool too. That's when it like really fucking flares up. When it's like warm, but then there's like a shift in pressure / like heat change or cold change. And it just causes the fucking sinuses and the nose to go nuts every time. I fucking hate it. Oh, these. I'm not gonna Zukov has to always keep himself locked up in that laundry room. Like, F all the places, that's where he just always wants to hang out. I'll never understand that. Never understand that, doggo. Caffeine, weed. Caffeine, weed, nicotine. Trifecta of bullshit right there, tell you what. Well, 2 of them are good, but 1 of them ain't. But yeah, sometimes the more it kind of calls for me a little bit, just being like, wake up to that Eid. It's mostly the coffee that calls for my name, though. Because my brain just cannot hang, basically. It's just like, I'm going to go Neanderthalic mode until I get my coffee. Either that, or avoid thee for at least like 2 hours. So, I always need my coffee. Always need it. Coffee. There we go. Get all the water bowl going. Kind of chit chat about some shit, all that stuff. Because today too, I've been kind of seeing a little bit of like the scuttlebutt from like the debate yesterday, and holy fucking shit, bro. I'm not really too surprised, but there's been a lot of fucking hoopla over. Oh, out Springfield, they're eating dogs and cats. Dogs and cats, folks, they're eating them. They're all starving out there and just dying, so they're eating the cats and dogs. I found out what the fuck it came from, though. It's because of like some shit JD Vance said and a bunch of right-wing racist shitbags, we're trying to push, being like, oh, the Haitians. They're just like, basically a bunch of crazy voodoo priests or some shit that want to eat your dogs and cats and pets. That's literally where it comes from, and can't really be too shocked. But when I was listening to it the other day, and just like on my air stream, just tuning into that, I was like, I only heard they're eating the pets, they're eating the dogs. Like that's all I heard. Like I didn't hear anything else for a minute, so I was just like, what the fuck? This louder is better. Yeah. Stupid fucking bowl. Clogged. I swear to God, this thing only gets clogged like every fucking time I use this damn thing. I swear to God. Nah. Boo. There we go. It's also kind of gauging on like how some people were feeling about the debate too, outside of just some random little highlights like they're eating the dogs and all this other random bullshit. But it just seems like honestly, all in all, it hasn't really changed much. I'm pretty sure, like, if anything, most people are just, who are already for Kamala are just going to be like, she slayed Queen. Yes. And then there's going to be people who are already, support Trump and are going to say, well, he held his own. Nah. I mean, even my fucking mom, like, was kind of Trump leaning. She doesn't really like him, but even she was just like, yeah, I think he held his own, I guess. Not very strongly convicted on that opinion, but kind of. So I think that's what a lot of people are feeling one way or the other. Like, okay, I guess. If anything, it was bigger news that fucking Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala. It's like, yeah, that happened yesterday. Oh, by the way, debate. Seemed like most people gave a fuck about like the Swifties, having Taylor Swift go out there, endorse Kamala, I guess, or whatever the fuck. Which now you got like the Disney adults, the adult Disney people and shit out there now gonna probably go like full on fucking slay Mamala Swift and Mamala Harris. Yeah, dude. It just kind of feels like it's mostly literally just vibes, and like one half the country is just like, yay, vibes for Kamala, and the other half's like vibes for Trump. And even then, that's not exactly like, completely true. Realistically, it's like half the country is pretty much like, on one side or the other, like, yay, Mama, yay, Trump. And then the other half is like, I don't really give a fuck. Or just, like, just dissatisfied or, disfranchised from the system in some way or another, and electorally. Because I sure shit am. I'm definitely a part of that 50%. I'm just like, nah. I'm political wonk. That's the only reason why I kind of pay attention. I tend to be into that shit, so whatever. But beyond that, it's like, there's really not much. I was even skimming more of it a little bit this morning, and there just wasn't really, honestly, anything super like politically substantive. If there was anything, it was literally just to undermine someone else's policies and shit. Like one of them will say something about like some pledge or something that they did, or whatever the fuck. And then the other one would be like, no, I'm actually going to do that and be better about it. Or vice versa. It's just like, it just didn't seem like there was anything fucking fruitful about that outside of just like, ooh, maybe we could get some clicks and highlights. Make some ad campaigns, with the clips that we get out of this. Honestly, I think the whole idea of taking out the live audience kind of sucked. And the fact that they didn't have an open mic the entire time sucked. Because there's a few points where I think someone straight up forgot to turn off one or the other mic when one of them's speaking. Because there was a few times where they actually started talking over each other, started fighting for a minute. And I was like straight up like was dead ass open there would be a back and forth between each other, but there wasn't. And that annoys the shit out of me, because if it's meant to be like, we want to see like, a strong, like, president, as a leader, and Kamala supposedly is, trying to, take that mantle and title too, she ought to look like it. I've been hearing a cope of like, well, it's not so much Kamala won, it's that Trump lost. It's like, so they both lost? What, did they both suck? Like, because if it's not so much that Kamala won and Trump lost, then doesn't that just mean that she also lost, just less so? Like, it's so stupid. At that point, just say like the fact checkers or whatever the fuck and the moderators, were like the highlight or whatever, or they won, because realistically they did. Moderators were actually the ones that were kind of worth a fuck. And one thing I've been hearing the Trumpies and the right wingers say is that, oh, it was just rigged. It was like, a work against Trump just to try to like, get everyone on Mambla's side or whatever the fuck. Like, they've been doing some hardcore cope on that one. Straight up some cope. And it's like, what, you mean journalists actually doing their fucking job? Moderators in a debate doing their fucking job? And yeah, maybe Kamala happens to not be a crazy, psychotic, unhinged, like I lie every sentence I'm saying kind of crazy bitch. Because she'll lie. But at least it's, buttered up with enough, like, facts and enough, aspects of reality to where there's not much of a strong need to fact check shit like that, because half of it, ends up just being like, nuance, like wonky shit. Where it's like, well, you did say that you support this, but, a technicality of budget and this and that, blah, blah, blah. It's like, unless you want the debate to pretty much be half of that, it's a clever tactic, really. I mean, it's like, just, push enough of what is at least true and stuff, especially against your opponent and whatever little lies that you're saying, just squeeze them in there every now and then. And honestly, it's easy to, not lie, so to speak, when you're pledging shit too. I swear to God, I've heard, Kamala Harris at least like 5 separate times say, I pledge, I will pledge. I'll pledge, to do X, Y, or Z, or enforce X, Y, or Z, or recodify this, or whatever. It's like, it's pledging, or promising. It's not like, I will guarantee, continue, and establish, these rights, or it's not like I will, the first week, codify. It's not like something concrete and, and set in stone. It's just like, I'll pledge, maybe. Because then you could just lie about it and then just backtrack and say, oh, it's a parliamentarian. Oh, well, I got distracted with other stuff and blah, 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 blah. They already did this with marijuana. They were trying, like, I remember this back in 2020, they were pushing the idea of at least full-on decriminalization, or at least I think medical legalization on a federal level, and they just did nothing about it. I think it was only like this year when they finally did something, and even then it was not even remotely close to what they were supposedly pledging to do. So it's easy to just lie about bullshit when you just pledge to do things, because then it's not really like a guaranteed like, oh, I'm going to do it. I just pledge I might do it. And if I win. It's like, you're VP now. Like, you could probably, like, force to push some shit now. I mean, I get it's crunch time and shit with the election coming up, but fuck. What, I can't spend a couple days, like 1 week out of the month, or something leading up here. You can't spend at least 1 week collectively, spending like 2 days at the White House, every so often to at least just force some shit through. And vice presidents aren't just like, some tokenistic gesture that's just there to look like a figurehead. Like, they actually have a fucking job. And I wish that, administrations would actually treat it like that. It feels like Darth Cheney was the only one that actually kind of acted like a Veep. And of course, the last one to actually act like one was the scummiest fucking Sith Lord piece of shit in the world. Helped Bush and shit, when it came to, codifying the Patriot Act, and when it came to the Iraq War, was like one of the masterminds behind that shit. So it's just like, Yeah, I mean, like the last VP to straight up, actually have some power and influence and actually get shit done was a fucker, like a straight up fucker. It's like, ugh. It's up, Logan. This guy have a little weed coffee before I go to work later. Actually, time check here. I'm fine. Cool. Yeah, like another 15 minutes or something about that. 20. Just got their appointment. Right on. Yeah, just having a little weed. Yeah, fucking getting coffee in me. Usual shit for work. It's definitely way colder today than it was yesterday, that's for sure. Also, it's just kind of talking about a little bit of the debate, because I kind of listened to a little bit last night and this morning. Just kind of like some stuff I missed and, shit like that. And frankly, literally, all in all, like when it comes to what I was listening to when you guys were popping in and prior to that versus like afterwards on my own time, nothing much different. In fact, honestly, funny enough, it seems like outside of that, the only big news that day was Taylor Swift endorsed Kamala. So I think more people unironically just fucking like cared about that more so than the actual debates. Also, I thought she did a good job. Trump sounded like dumbass. Well, honestly, like, it's Trump, of course. I mean, but the thing is, though, I mean, I've been kind of taking some gauges about things, and I just kind of feel like, whatever difference, like, whatever change, like, all in all happens, with this debate is very negligible. Like, people already are, kind of for Trump are just going to think you held his ground and blah, blah, blah. People that already like Kamala are going to think she did good, So, I mean, honestly, all in all, yeah. I mean, yeah, she did all right. But, I just don't really think, it's going to change much. And frankly, honestly, I could, like, the few times she actually did kind of throw a jab here and there, I thought it was going to be like a burn. But she kind of went, all right, you got hit, yeah. It's like she was almost being too nice, honestly. It's like she needed to kind of drop that kind of like, I'm a civility damn, a little bit and kind of, throw a punch or two, because Trump just didn't give a fuck, even though he's a crazy lunatic talking about Springfield, Ohio, and Haitians over there eating dogs or whatever the fuck. In fact, funny enough, at least, so far the news of the debate since then is either like, Kamal did okay, or that. Trump making that, Haitians eating dogs comment or whatever the fuck he said. I mean, and the Taylor Swift thing. So it's literally just like out from news yesterday. Those are like the big three things. It's just like, Trump saying some insane shit about Haitians or whatever. And, Kamal done, all right, but, and then, Taylor Swift endorsing Kamal, basically. It just kind of almost felt like a vibes-based kind of debate, like, because, I was mentioning it before you popped in about, like, what little policy was being mentioned was mostly just being like, no, actually, I did that, or I'm going to be better about that than you, and you actually didn't do that, or something like that. It just didn't really feel like there was anything, like, concrete, or anything, and when there was, it wasn't really anything that felt satisfactory of, like, all right, yeah, that's going to be good. Let's look at doggy and shit. Yeah. And I looked into why that was even a comment, because I didn't hear that before up until that debate. So I was like, where the fuck did that come from? Because Trump picks shit up like that randomly, either via TV, Truth Social, or some other shit. So obviously he found it somewhere. So I looked into it, and it's literally because apparently there's like a story that's obviously just fake and it's not true whatsoever, of like apparently supposedly Haitians eating dogs, or whatever the fuck in Springfield, Ohio, which I thought it was like Springfield, Illinois, or some shit. But I guess this is Springfield, Ohio. But yeah, like the actual story itself, there's literally no truth to it at all. It's just racist dog whistling garbage to be like, fuck you, immigrant. That's basically where it comes down to. It's just fear mongering, but it just threw me so off guard. I was like, what the fuck? Like, huh? If he's worried about people eating dogs, then he should probably go look at RFK Jr., the guy that recently endorsed him. He has a history of eating dogs. I know about some random ass Haitian refugee, but RFK Jr. sure as shit does. Moderators would debate. Yeah, I think that too. Because honestly, like, they just straight up, like, are lazy fucks. Well, not lazy fucks, but fucking, like, well, usually journalists and media, you know, tend to be pretty lazy about their fucking jobs, but in this case, they weren't. They're actually doing their fucking job and be like, oh, by the way, hey, that random thing you said, that's actually not true. Oh, by the way, your number was wrong on this. It's actually blah, 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 and you're hyper exaggerating the numbers. And, blah. Like, they actually were, like, kind of actually doing their job for once. I was actually kind of shocked. I was like, there was a few times where, honestly, the highlights for me were from the moderators. I remember one, thing about Trump during the abortion, like me, like, yeah, they just like, yeah, we'll take the baby out and then kill it after it's born, blah blah blah. And then one of the moderators, immediately after his insane rant, was just like, sir, there's no state where it's legal to kill the baby outside the room. Anyway, come on, but just straight cold as fuck fact check, just like, yeah, no, you're wrong. Anyway, your response, it was just cold as fuck, dude. I was just like, damn. Probably honestly the best part of the night, for me was just like that cold just shutdown of that like insane 2-minute ramble of his about like babies being killed out of the womb or whatever the fuck. And then, just moved on from it. It didn't give him a chance to say shit. Oh, that was frankly awesome. Best thing too is that was actually at least like within the first 30 minutes too. So it was around the time where there was still kind of a warm up from Trump. It wasn't quite like at his peak yet. Because honestly, like whatever he took, because I guarantee both of them were awesome drugs. I'm just gonna be fucking straight with you. I guarantee you, Mamla out there was, got a couple shots of tequila in her to loosen her up a little bit. Maybe to kind of calm the nerves to Gazani real quick, because I'm not gonna lie, man, she also did sound a little slurish. Like, look, that is just a little crazy now. There was a few times where, she was talking, I'm like, is she drunk? I was honestly, like, thinking that. Not, like, full-on drunk where she's just, like, unable to, like, think or anything, but just enough to where there's, like, a little slurrishness in the words. Just enough, like a good buzz going or something, you know what I mean? Like, there was, like, just, and I know Trump definitely does. That motherfucker's going, like, snorting, like, a good full, like, bar of Addies, bro, or some shit. Like, like that dude's on a fucking cocktail, and and once, like, they're after I think that point, with the moderator, like, just straight coldly shutting him down, and then I know Kamala, like, I'm poking at him, especially with his rallies and shit or whatever the fuck. Like, he definitely, whatever, drug cocktail he had going on really amped him up and went, because for the first little bit he was like. But as he, like, slowly started to get his energy up and went, like, he eventually started to kind of look like a Dawn again, like he normally would. Just ugly as fuck, and as he usually is, with that, like, insane nut pussy thing he's got going on in his neck. Ugh. I mean, it's just like, I Logan eats a jazzy chunk. Yeah, tonight I'm thinking I might just roast myself up some Zukov, tenderloin or something. Instead of, like, turkey leg, it's just Zukov legs, just big old, like, start chowing down on them. I feel like it would be a little fatty and not really super meaty. Well, not really fatty either, though. I mean, he's so tender, though. So slim. Like, he'd feed me for a day. Yo, Jazzy or Vito, that they would feed me for a week. They eat some big chunks. Some beefy doggos. We're now both immigrants. We're both immigrants, not pet eaters. Yeah. We're gonna eat your dogs, eat your cats, eat your gerbils and hamsters too next. My God, dude. You know, like, that's kind of the one thing I kind of weirdly like about some of the fear-mongering right-wingers, especially the far-right, love to do, is that they'll just say the most wildest shit. Like, just straight up, being like, yeah, Haitians eat dogs or some shit. You know, because it's just so comical to me. It's like, bruh, you have to justify your weird racist shit so much because there's nothing there, you know, so you have to be like, oh, they're crazy like voodoo dog eaters or something. It's like, good lord, bro. I mean, it's still disgusting as fuck, but at the same time, it's still hilarious because of how absurd and just how comical it is. Like, nowhere in this country is anyone just like, yeah, I think I'll just eat a dog today. Nobody. And if there is, they're probably already got a lot of fucking issues going on, and they're probably like, you know, some weird Appalachian small bunk-ass town somewhere, and got like no services and shit, and just kind of left to their own devices to be crazy or something. Like, I mean, seriously. Like, there's just no one does that. So, in the straight up caucasity, let alone audacity, to be like, oh yeah, it's like, you know, immigrants and especially black ones. It's like, bruh, if there's anyone that's likely to be doing that in this fucking country, it's probably some crazy inbred white hillbilly from Appalachia somewhere in like the foothills, West Virginia. Like, chances are that's probably where it's coming from, bro. And even then, probably just out of necessity because they got like nothing else and they got no money to go to the grocery store. It's like 50 miles away. I mean, it's ridiculous. Because it makes you think, like, you know, because it pretty much has to establish a premise of, like, so they not only do they think, like, people in Haiti just do that, like, so they think if they just went to, like, you know, somewhere in, like, you know, in the capital in Haiti, I don't know, what was it, like, Jamestown, I think, or some shit? I forgot exactly what it's called. Some English town. Or, like, some English name city or some shit. Maybe it's French, actually, because Haitians, because Haiti used to be it might actually be French, so it might be some French name or some shit. I don't fucking know. But, I mean, so either way, but it's like, you know, these motherfuckers think, you know, it's like they go down to the markets and, like, you know, the capital of Haiti, and all of a sudden it's just like, yep, there's just, like, dog roasts everywhere and shit. It's like, what? Guys, a Haitian dog gumbo for now. It's like, what the fuck? Like, what? Like, no. Absurd. And then they have to now imply and expand that to be like, oh, not only is that happening there, but it's also, you know, being brought over here and no one's doing anything about it because reasons. And it's only like certain media that wants to call it out because we don't want to be offensive or something. And again, reasons. And it's just like, what? Because I don't care what, like, perspective or, like, politics you got. Like, if there was an actual genuine news story of, like, some random people, migrant or not, they're like, yeah, you just will casually, like, adopt dogs and just eat them. You know, then, yeah, that'd be fucked up, and fuck those people. But, again, it doesn't happen. I guarantee you there's not even a news story somewhere from, not even from, like, 2004 or some shit that's in, like, some internet archive thing. I guarantee you there's nothing about it. I mean, you're more likely to hear about, like, some crazy white bitch getting dog pilled more than, like, you know, dog fooded or whatever. All right. Ain't time yet, but. And conservatives honestly wonder why, you know, they tend to be called freaks and weirdos. Because such random ass shit is on their mind so much and all the time. Oh my god, it also reminds me, Joe Rogan says, I didn't really see the clip, but I saw like a few videos reacting to this weird thing Joe Rogan made. Be like, you know, I resist the temptations of gays because gays can't resist me or something like that. It was, I think that was like a quote of some shit in the video. And like, cause I know it was like him in a hot tub, just like, straight, honestly, unironically looking gay as fuck. And it's like, dude, you got something to admit there, Joe? Because that is just some weird shit. It's just so random. I don't even necessarily think of him as like a full-on like right-winger, but he definitely is kind of right adjacent and just dumb as fuck, frankly. Definitely got a little eight-brain situation going on. And with that, with shit like that, it's like, makes me wonder. It makes me kind of wonder what some of his, like, proclivities might be. Because honestly, there's always been kind of like a thing in my mind where I'm like, if Joe Rogan was kind of gay or something, I probably wouldn't be surprised at all. Or like bi at the very minimal. I mean, honestly, he probably just strikes me as bisexual or something, to be frank. I mean, because he's married and has kids and shit. So obviously, I mean, he's, like, attracted to chicks, and shit. But it's just like, I assume that, there's something in there where he's just like, what would it be like to suck a dick? Or, fuck a femboy ass or something. Like, I guarantee you he's thought that and thought it'd be nice. Get one bowl loaded up and all that. Guess get myself on to work and all that fun shenanigans. Oh boy. And especially with the dip in the weather, hopefully it actually kind of keeps people from coming in and getting shit. And people can kind of fuck off a little bit. Then don't have to worry about it. That should be kind of nice. So, as far as I'm concerned, here's open. Anyway, I'll call it good for now. Might do a little one stream, who knows, maybe not. But probably not. I'll just come back after work. But anyway, be safe now, and toodaloo.